It is Leading with the Helmet. I'm Danny. He's Goods. You can follow me on Twitter at Danny Mata Jr. You can follow him at fireNmiss. Thank you so much for making us part of this beautiful Saturday or Sunday morning as we get ready for another week in the NFL. And as we get ready to start the show, Adam Schefter has just tweeted out that Le'Veon Bell is not likely to return to the Steelers this season. So he had tweeted that, he had tweeted something out that made it sound like he was going to come back, and now he's not coming back. So it looks like the saga is going to be over, and it's going to be James Conner. Goods, I know you have a lot of feelings about this.
I have been against Le'Veon Bell this entire season. I believed in James Conner from the start. I mean, yeah, granted, the first couple games were Browns and what was their second game was also trash. And people are like, well, Le'Veon Bell can do just that. And I'm like, okay, after 9 games, James Conner's got more rushing touchdowns than Le'Veon Bell's ever had in a season and has tied scrimmage touchdowns with Le'Veon Bell's ever had in a season. So it appears Conner can handle the load just fine.
Where did you get that information from?
NFL Twitter.
But the funny thing about that is, like, for those of you that haven't seen the Twitter, Le'Veon Bell had some weird thing where he decided to tweet upside down because.
Yeah, how the hell do you do that, by the way?
I was trying to figure that out. I was like going on the keyboard, like, wait, how the hell do you do this? I'm like holding down the letters so they appear upside down, and I'm sure there's some sort of keyboard, but why? Why would you download the app just to? Anyway. So he does that and just starts tweeting a bunch of stuff upside down. So the NFL promptly tweets out some information upside down about Le'Veon Bell, and it's about James Conner jumping him for the stat you just named.
Yeah, essentially being better statistically than Le'Veon Bell ever was, which, I mean, it happens. Like, Larry Johnson replaced Priest Holmes. I mean, yeah, Priest Holmes was an amazing running back. Larry Johnson just happened to be better at the right time. I mean, it does happen all the time. And everyone believed Le'Veon Bell was going to be better than James Conner no matter what. But it turns out Conner's a hell of a back. So, whatever. Steelers got lucky.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out great. I just think at the NFL, that's savage.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I loved reading that. Because the first message was like, oh, yeah, and all you suckers reading my message proves my point. And then the NFL's like, well, those suckers have just read how James Conner is better than you, so your move, Le'Veon Bell. And then Le'Veon Bell is yet to respond.
Yeah, that was savage. And I really like that. Whoever is running the NFL Twitter handle deserves a raise. Like, I don't know if it's an intern or whatever to hire him, because like that was gold. That was gold stuff. But it's going to be James Conner from now on. I think the Steelers are glad for this to be done. But I will tell you right now, the Steelers are on some kind of a roll. And I made it very clear when we started this show and after the first couple weeks, I was just not a fan of Pittsburgh. And you know what? But at some point, you've got to just eat your words. And right now, I've got to eat them, man. They're playing some ball right now.
I'll give you credit. I almost bought into what you were selling. I was still kind of on the fence, but they've won, I think, 4 in a row, something like that, and they've put up major points doing it. And this last week, I was like, there's no way the Panthers can hold them. That team's on their deep field. There's no way. And then the Steelers. What was it, 52 or something ridiculous?
52 points. Dude, again, because I picked the Panthers thinking, I'll put you this way, dude, I was hoping you were going to take the Steelers. That's how sure of it I felt. And then I'm watching that going, okay, well, I'm wrong. And the Steelers are clearly good, so.
What was it, 21 in the first quarter alone, wasn't it?
It was ugly. It was ugly. But of course, because, everything about that game pissed me off. From the fact the Steelers were good, and not because I have anything against the Steelers, more so that I picked them to be bad, and so to piss that I'm wrong. But also, I'm tweeting out a bunch of crap on fantasy football because he's throwing it to Juju Smith-Schuster. He's not throwing it to Antonio Brown like I need him to. Because your like logic goes out the window when you're watching fantasy football. It is like, I just need him to do this. Like, how many touchdowns does Ben have? 5? That's wonderful. How many does Brown have? Only one of them. God damn it. What the hell is going on here? And then And then the guy on play in another league has freaking Christian McCaffrey, who for some freaking reason is still out there when it's 52-14, and he's going out there and still scoring touchdowns and burying my ass.
He had 3, right, in that game?
He had 3. He had like 32 points is what the guy got against me. It was something ridiculous. It was just.
What pisses me off? I tried trading for that guy this week, and no one would trade. I tried getting a running back so hard, and no one would trade me. McCaffrey was one of them, and I'm just doomed to have one running back.
Yeah, dude, but like, the guy that has McCaffrey is not going to trade with you because his team is too good. So that's why.
You know what? He can deal without him then.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He might win the league, dude. The only reason he's in his current spot is because he just forgot to show up one week and set his lineup, and then he had some really bad luck in others. So you just look at his roster, like, he might win the league. So, which does nothing for our listeners. I'm not going to bore them with fantasy football of a league they're not in because it's stupid and we're not doing it. So, but just take my word for it. His team's good. But moving on. The Steelers. Yeah, they're. I mean, I don't know how good that defense is. I don't.
Average.
But they've got T.J. Watt, and I'll tell you one thing. If you are the Watt parents, to be sitting there with like JJ and TJ up there, like among the league leaders in sacks, some people should just keep having babies. That's my official position on that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Like, dude, the other Watt is Derek Watt. There's a third one, and people forget about him because he's a fullback for the Chargers. The fullbacks don't touch the ball. And they're like, well, how good is he? I'm like, well, if you watch Melvin Gordon this year, he's got to be decent. I'm just saying his fullbacks got to be
honestly didn't know there was a third one.
That's what most people don't because he's a fullback. But Melvin Gordon is having a terrific year, and you can bet that at least part of that is because of Derek Watt. I don't know how much of it. I don't watch the San Diego /LA whatever Chargers.
No home?
But no, they ain't got no home. Yeah, whatever. Soccer stadium, Chargers. They put more people. Dude, the LA Galaxy get better home turnouts than the Chargers.
You know what? That's sad because the Chargers are actually good this year.
It is exactly. The Chargers are all right. I mean, they got off to a slow start. They had that loss to Kansas City. I think they started 1-2 right around there, and they've been on a roll.
It's not sad to lose to Kansas City. I'm sorry, they're the third best team in football right now.
Well, that's the other thing is the Chargers are going to get another crack at them, and they might have Joey Bosa back when they get their next crack at him. So
I don't know that that'll matter.
Look,
they're freaking amazing.
Look, the only way you can beat a team like Kansas City, you've got to be able to hit the quarterback. And so far, no one's been able to do it. I mean, the team that played him the best was probably Jacksonville, but excuse me,
Denver.
No, I don't think he threw a touchdown against Jacksonville. I think he ran for one, and if he threw a touchdown, he only had one. He didn't have a big game. The Chiefs scored a lot of points, but he didn't blow up on the Jaguars.
But Denver it was 21-19 or something like that. The final score.
Yeah, but I mean, So I mean, I guess if you're going by total team points scored, I mean they defended them the best, obviously.
Well, it's generally how they call wins and losses in the NFL.
I'm talking about specifically Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm talking about, specifically him. Okay. And I think Jags is the only game he didn't throw a touchdown on, or he had very few. If he had one, he had only one. But anyway.
Okay, well, on that point, yes, he single-handedly basically won the Denver game.
The point is, you have to be able to get to the quarterback. You've got to be able to hit him, because if you can't hit him, you're in trouble. And the Chargers with Joey Bosa is one of the best defensive players in the league. He is one of the best pass rushers in football. And there were times last season where where a lot of people would have said he was the best. And I'm just saying that adding a guy like that to a very talented defense, and you have an offense that's on a roll with a running back who can help you control the clock, I'm just saying they've got a shot. You're at least in the discussion.
Yeah, what the hell with Gordon, man? That guy's been on a tear.
Yeah, the whole Chargers have been on a tear. Yeah, Phillip Rivers is one of those guys that at the end of the year, people are going to look at it and go, why isn't that guy getting MVP votes? And then someone's going to look at him and go, well, Patrick Mahomes. And then they're going to go, oh, yeah, well, any other year. Like, yeah, maybe any other year. But, yeah, I honestly, Pittsburgh's just a lot better than I thought. I'm not willing to say they're better than Kansas City because I don't think Pittsburgh can stop Kansas City. But they've got a pass rusher, which helps. And I guess ultimately my concern with Pittsburgh really is I still don't know how good they would be away from Pittsburgh. But if they keep playing the way they're playing, they may not run into that problem.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, their offense is definitely on a roll, but we'll just have to check out the schedule in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that Patriots-Packers game last week. I was hoping for the exciting finish, and really, but more than anything, and I felt like that game was the perfect embodiment of why you can't turn the ball over. How one play can change an entire game. Because if you watch that game, the game is tied, the Packers are on the move. It looks like they're about to take the lead. Aaron Jones fumbles the football, and that is it. And it was all downhill from the Packers from there. The Patriots took over. I mean, did it surprise you how much that play ultimately mattered?
No. I mean, two teams that are so jacked to play each other, they've been hearing nothing but, oh, this player is great, this player is great. The defense has wanted some blood. And the coaches were like, okay, well, we know what we got to do to win the game. And they're two great coaches. And ultimately, two great teams, it's always going to come down to a player or two that makes the difference. And it was a close game. I mean, everyone expected that. Was it like 19-17 or?
It was 31-17 Patriots at the end.
Oh, was there garbage time points? I could have sworn it was like 19-17.
Well, no, it was 31-17. Yeah, 19-17 was the Broncos and Texans game.
Huh. Drugs are bad. So, look. I mean, everything else I said, though, matters. And then
right. Yeah.
But
See, this is why you don't do a show drunk, dude. This is why I'm just telling you. This is why.
I'm not drunk. I am. So Aaron Rodgers, he plays for the Packers, and then Tom Brady plays for the Patriots.
That is a wonderful assessment there. I agree with you. Let's move on. Let's just quit while we're ahead. James White. Dude, this is a dude for the Patriots. And I know that people are starting to talk about it a little bit more, but here's the thing. James White might end up being the best running back ever. Well, okay. Hold on. I wasn't done with that sentence. I guess maybe outside of Bo Jackson. James White is going to end up being the best running back ever to never have a 1,000-yard season in his career. Because if you look at what he's basically just another receiver for the Patriots, and no one can stop him. And this has been going on for years, dude. And the numbers that this dude is putting up, it's absolutely it's crazy to me how good he is every year. But he's got 10 touchdowns already this season, dude, and he's going to end up. He's got more receiving yards. He's more than twice the number of receiving yards that he has rushing yards.
Well, it's kind of like the Saints. It just depends on the scheme you're in. I guarantee you these players, I mean, yeah, they like stats, but they like winning teams more. The Saints have always had running backs that have made better receivers than running backs. And the Patriots, I mean, outside of Corey Dillon, have always had better receivers than actual backs.
Yeah, you're right. I think Corey Dillon probably is the last one that was probably the truly elite workhorse, back. And yeah, generally it's been a multifaceted guy. So yeah, I'm with you.
Brady. I mean, it makes zero sense, but they've always done 50, 60 passes a game. It's nuts, but I mean, why argue with what makes a dynasty?
Right, because when you watch, and you mentioned the Saints, yeah, I mean, we watched the way they used Reggie Bush. Like, the people expected Reggie Bush coming out of college just run for 1,500 yards every year, but he was not that player. But the Saints knew that get the guy out into space, use him as a weapon. And what you see now is Reggie Bush is one of the first guys. They just lined him up everywhere and created mismatches all over the field. The Panthers do that with Christian McCaffrey. You mentioned the Saints, they do it. They're doing it now with Alvin Kamara. But what the Patriots do with James White, man, it is crazy how good James White is. I mean, he has a shot at a 1,000-yard receiving season, and he won't rush for half of that. But that's my point, though, is that like the way that they use him is nuts to me. Like, it's because no one can stop him. This has been going on for years now, and he's only getting more lethal. He scored 7 touchdowns last year. He's already got 10 this year.
To me, that's just intelligent coaching. I mean, if something's unorthodox, doesn't mean it's not right. It just means you're evolving past what the league says is right, and then that's the way it goes.
Actually, let me rephrase that. Sorry, he had 3 touchdowns last year. I was reading the wrong stats. Yeah. So it's like you said. I mean, you figure out the matchup and you just work. I mean, that guy James White is a monster, and it is crazy to me that like no one talks about how good that guy is, because we get so obsessed with. We have this notion of running backs, right? They run the ball. They're going to run for 1,000 yards, this and that. But like this guy is just basically being used as another receiver, but lining up in a different spot, and no one can cover him.
Well, Patriots don't have a lot of receivers, so.
Well, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is like he's still a threat. They've had Gronkowski. They've had guys. I mean, they've got Josh Gordon right now. I mean, and Julian Edelman's back, and it's not. And all that's happening is no one can cover James White. He wins all of his matchups against linebackers, safeties when they come down. He's just. I mean, that guy he's a freak, and no one talks about him. You want to know what I will talk about is the Buffalo Bills, and they are the most wonderful train wreck of an organization ever.
I think the Raiders are.
Oh, I think I'll get to the Raiders, but this is why the Bills are so glorious.
Okay.
They snap the longest losing streak or playoff drought in the NFL, and turn around and become once again one of the worst teams in football. And they do it by throwing every freaking quarterback. Dude, Matt Barkley is going to start tomorrow. Matt Barkley hadn't played a football game since 2016. I'm not sure. That's the last time he was in the league. I don't even know if he played in 2016. He might have just been in the league. But, like, Matt Barkley's going to start for the Bills against the Jets because Nate Peterman is so terrible. 3 more picks last week, and they got killed again. I mean,
let me change my pick here for a second. Hold on.
The Bills are the most perfect train wreck of an organization I've ever seen. Were you going to pick the Bills?
I didn't realize that they were going to some 7th round or 7th depth chart person.
Well, okay, so you thought
the
that
Jets are terrible.
So let me get this straight. You thought Nate Peterman was going to win a football game.
And you thought the Jets could be good enough to be sure?
Well, okay. The Jets have won a couple of games this year. Nate Peterman has never done anything positive in his career.
I assumed they were not going to go Peterman again. That was my first assumption. I didn't know it was going to be some guy off the couch.
Who did you think it was going to be? Who else is on the roster?
LaShawn McCoy? It didn't matter.
Who did you think was going to quarterback?
Some bro from the stands? That didn't matter.
Well, the Jets aren't starting their quarterback either. They're starting Josh McCown. He's a veteran.
At least he's a quarterback.
I'm saying the Jets are starting a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, in any scenario here, the Jets had the upper hand at quarterback because the alternative was someone who plays for the Bills.
I just don't like the Jets. But now I like them more than some other.
Just now you like them more? Just now?
Well, yeah. You shouldn't have told me that. I would have picked the Bills.
Well, we would have gotten into it.
Well, I might have not had time at that point, but
This
now you
this
fucked up.
this conversation. Yeah. No, all right. Okay. Wow. Wow, dude, Nate Peterman, man, that guy. Oof, God, I
No,
just
I
felt
didn't
like
say
it's
Peterman was going to beat anyone. I never said that. I assumed they were starting someone else. I did
again. I'm
not
just trying to figure
know
out who
it
did you
was going to
think they
be
were
some.
starting? Because
I don't know the coach's
there,
daughter. It didn't matter over the
there's a
Jets.
reason Matt Barkley is starting. They don't have anyone else.
Apparently, the coach doesn't have a daughter. That's fine.
I'm just like whatever, man. I'm just. Well. Also, the Cowboys are terrible, and
Yeah, what the fuck, man? I
that was
totally
the
thought they
most.
were going to win
Oh
that
my
game.
God,
That was
dude,
awful. It was
dude,
24-10 or something like that.
Dude, that was just, you know what? Oh my God. You know, the worst part about that is the Cowboys should have been up 17, 21 points out the gate, right? I mean, even if you're on the low side, the kicker, Maher makes that kick and it's 3-0, you get a touchdown, and and then you score again, 17-0, right? But like instead, Dak Prescott's throwing balls in a double coverage, which was a weird in the end zone on a play fake, which is a weird call because why not just give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott? Right? That seems like a good idea.
No, the worst part of that was I picked the fucking Cowboys to win that game, right? Which would have helped my season picks. I was also, I don't know, some number of points in fantasy ahead of the guy who had
Mariota?
Amari Cooper.
Oh, Cooper, okay.
And Cooper gets a damn touchdown, which puts him just ahead of me, but then the Cowboys suck from there on out. So I lose the pick, I lose fantasy, I lose everything, because the Cowboys don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, their defense gets lit up by Marcus Mariota. Like the utter incompetence. And I tell people like really, Cowboys fans, I don't know if they've accepted it. Jerry Jones has become Al Davis, like fully. He is. Yeah. I mean, the fact that Jason Garrett is one of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL. Let that sink in.
I really didn't know that. I didn't think that was
true.
Has
it
been that long?
He has been
there. Years.
Dude, he is 2010. Midway through 2010 was when he got that job.
Have they been to the playoffs since then?
Once, yeah.
Right?
I mean, we don't know, twice. They had a couple of 13-3 seasons, I think. They were there in 2014. They were pretty good. That was the Des Bryant no catch year. And then a couple years ago, they lost to Green Bay again because Aaron Rodgers is ridiculous. He had a lot to do with both times they lost.
But 2 times in 8 years, and you get a lot of salary.
Right, and then you've had Tony Romo as your quarterback for a good chunk of that. And then on this end, Dak Prescott, look, I know everyone wanted to anoint him like the next big thing after that amazing rookie year he had, and I get it, but at some point, this guy's got to turn around. He had a play in that game where he's rolling out of the pocket and instead of throwing the ball away, he runs out of bounds. He takes a 2-yard loss on an out of bounds, which goes down as a sack, right? Like, and I sit there watching that, and I think, dude, it's little things like that. Throw the ball away. You're taking a loss for no reason. Just throw the ball away. And I've defended this guy because the Cowboys' offensive line is not good without Travis Frederick, and their play calling has been absolutely atrocious. And Amari Cooper has played 1 game and is already their best receiver by a mile. So he hasn't had anyone to throw it to, and I get it. But like little things like that, throwing it in double coverage, force feeding to Amari Cooper in double coverage in the end zone, throw the ball away. I mean, he's got to make better decisions. And the Cowboys, to me, right now, they look like a train wreck. So,
and now they don't have a first pick.
Right. Which may not matter if Cooper ends up being a beast, but I just don't see how. I don't see how this team recovers. I think it's a 7 or 9 team. The Cowboys are a train wreck, and again, the fact that whenever Jason Garrett gets fired, it still will have been far too long that he's been the coach.
They don't seem to go the right direction.
Right, because they have an owner that stuck in the muck.
Like the Giants, man. They've just been shitting for a while. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Yeah. I mean, you talking about Eli? You mean like what? Sticking with Eli or what?
Just the overall team is like I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like they got Saquon, which is nice, but they've been sticking with Eli. Their offensive weapons have they just keep trying to get veterans that they think they're gonna have a resurgence or something, and then their O line's not helping a lot. It's the whole team. They're just being stuck.
Yeah, It's funny, like the Giants go out and win 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. I'll tell you, this is the weirdest thing I've ever said because I don't know you'd know what it's supposed to mean or if anyone's supposed to take offense by it. But the Giants are like the worst multi-time champion ever because they beat the Patriots. They beat Eli Manning. Beat Tom Brady twice. That will always to me be one of the weirdest things that has ever happened in the history of the NFL. That Tom Brady, not that he lost Super Bowls, but he lost 3 Super Bowls to Eli Manning twice and Nick Foles.
I feel like he lost it to Strahan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. But you know what I'm saying, though? But like Eli Manning is going to won 2 rings by beating Tom Brady's team, and Nick Foles is Super Bowl championship over Tom Brady. It's the weirdest thing.
Foles did his job, but Manning, I feel like that was defense. Strahan. It was there were like 55 dropbacks and Brady got hit 48 times or something like that. It was insane.
Yeah, it's crazy the number of times he got hit in that game, and I'm with you. Strahan, the defensive line, and all that. But I'm just saying that the Giants just really were a team that got hot because like 2011, they got hot. They won a championship, but like that team has been to the playoffs once since then and got murdered. I mean, they haven't even been close.
Yeah, last year was bad.
Yeah, and people really love to defend Eli Manning, and I'm just saying he's been a constant there. I'm not saying
I don't get it. I've never, ever liked Eli Manning. Ever since his rookie year when he wanted to get drafted by the Chargers, and he said, I don't want to play for the Chargers, and he cried like a little bitch, and he got up drafted or whatever to the Giants. I hated him since then. Peyton sold him off to make more money, which, okay, I mean, that's your brother. That makes sense. But I've never liked the guy since then. His rookie year, and his talent has never shown to be truly amazing. His stats never have. He's had all the kinds of weapons in the world. His defense saved him so many years. Eli sucks, a fat one.
I really have never been an Eli guy. I've always thought he's the most overrated quarterback that I've seen in the last probably 2 decades. I feel like, again, his own division. If Tony Romo played for the Giants, Tony Romo would have 2 championships too.
There's a lot of guys. Basically, about anybody who doesn't turn it over would have won with that team. That's all they needed.
I don't think he's the best quarterback. I think of the 3 quarterbacks that came out in the first round, in the first 11, 12 picks that draft, it was him, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. And Eli Manning is the 3rd best quarterback in that group. He may have. Look, I know he's got 2 rings and Phillip Rivers has 0, and I get that. But you cannot tell me, you cannot look me in the eye and tell me that you would rather have Eli Manning over Phillip Rivers.
Now, Rivers never had anywhere near the defense that Eli Manning did, or the coaching, for that matter.
Yeah, he had North
coaching
Turner.
Was far superior on the Giants.
Yeah, like if you look at some of the coaches that Phillip Rivers has had, he got 1 year with Marty Schottenheimer at 14-2. After that, they sentenced him to Norv Turner.
So head coach.
Right, and then they
offensive coordinator. All right.
Right, and then Mike McCoy gets in there. Mike McCoy. I mean, he's fine. I mean, he's got a coach. I mean, Anthony Lynn, he seems all right. I'm just saying, but like if you just look at the coaches that Phillip Rivers has played for, and you look at, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that
Plus,
people
Phillip
think
Rivers had to go through harder teams. He had to go through Peyton Manning and Tom Brady just to get the opportunity. Eli didn't have that. Exactly. He had Aaron Rodgers, who half the time was injured come that time. And what? Other than that, I mean, you could just kind of hot streak it through the playoffs.
Yeah, he kind of did. I mean,
Peyton
he
Manning
was
and Tom Brady, they were in their heyday going up against Phillip Rivers. They were destroying the league.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock the Eli for who he beat or how he got there and that stuff, but I am just going to say that is that he's not the reason why they won. And people are like, oh, he was a Super Bowl MVP. But as you and I are talking about, like, it was the defense both times. Like the Patriots that went 16-0 scored 14 points that Super Bowl. Eli wasn't out there playing defense. He got the last touchdown pass. He wasn't out there stopping Tom Brady all day. And the Patriots were once again one of the best offenses in the league in 2011. And they only scored 17 points in that game. Like, Eli's not throwing up boatloads of points in those games. He's just, again, I really feel like, that name lent him a lot. And you know what? He'll probably get into the Hall of Fame because 2 Super Bowl championship rings has always been a big thing for people. And honestly, there's a chance that Eli gets into the Hall of Fame and Phillip Rivers doesn't. It's a very real possibility. But I don't think anyone outside of New York can tell me with a straight face they think Eli Manning is better than Phillip Rivers. I don't think Eli Manning is better than Tony Romo. I think Eli Manning is at the best part of his career was maybe at one point he cracked the top 10 as a quarterback in the league. Maybe he did. But I'll tell you, I don't know what year it was off the top of my head, if that year ever happened.
And essentially it was just from not turning it over. It wasn't even outstanding performance offensively.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you're going to win, that's fine. But but it's just like when he got benched last year, people were like, "Oh, poor Eli. He doesn't deserve it. His start streak is going to get broken." I'm like, they're 2-9. They're 2-9. Like, why is everyone so butthurt about it? I don't get it. Like, Eli Manning. To me, Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer. And I have always felt like it's been too easy for some guys to get in, but 2 Super Bowl rings should not get Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame because sincerely, there's nothing on his resume outside of that suggests he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's like a punter. It's like, oh, I was a good punter for a championship team. It's like, what the hell made you a good punter?
I don't mind that so much. You want to know why? Because Eli Manning owes some of that Super Bowl success to a punter. Because remember, the Giants used Jeff Fiegels as a weapon. That guy was the best coffin corner kicker in the league, and he'd be pinning Tom Brady and other offenses inside their 10-yard line consistently, and unleashing and then the Giants would go unleash this ridiculous pass rush on their opposing offense, which is now playing in the shadow of its own end zone because the punter stuck him down there. So, I ain't hating on a punter. Punters can play big roles. And if you're the best to ever do it, fine. I don't have a problem if a punter's in the Hall of Fame. But I do have a problem if a guy, and honestly, I don't have a problem with a guy with 2 Super Bowl rings being in the Hall of Fame either. I'm just saying that if you take away the Super Bowl rings and just look at his career, Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer. And he's not, I don't think he's not even in the discussion.
Did he ever get over 30 touchdowns?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got over off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure. I think he threw 32 one year.
Barely.
So
1 year.
yeah. I mean, whatever. But just again, there's just nothing about his career. He doesn't have these jaw-dropping stats that just blow you away. He's largely just a guy, but he is a guy who got 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and so because of that, he's going to get elevated to the Hall of Fame, and he's not a Hall of Famer. Like another New York quarterback, like Joe Namath, dude. Joe Namath isn't a Hall of Famer. People are like, oh, well, he guaranteed a win, and then they won the Super Bowl. You want to know why they were underdogs? They were underdogs because of Joe Namath. The dude threw 25 interceptions that year. They only played 14 games.
That's not a good average.
They only played 14 games, 25 picks. He's one of the reasons why they were underdogs. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl. He didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he didn't throw an interception. He got the Super Bowl MVP for not throwing an interception, for not turning the ball over, for not screwing it up. And you know what? That's to his credit. He got a ring, and he did what he had to do to win it, and that's to his credit, and that's to Eli's credit. But Joe Namath isn't a Hall of Famer. It's ridiculous.
Joe Namath had nice hair, though.
Just saying, man. Like people really overvalue championships to a degree that I don't think it's just irrational. It's irrational that that championships are the first thing and foremost thing. Like, just damn, watch the guys play. Like, I don't think Tom Brady is better than Aaron Rodgers because he has more championships than him. I acknowledge that Aaron Rodgers can throw the football in a way no other quarterback has ever done it with the accuracy I've never seen. It's just that Tom Brady, guy just gets it done. If you look at the weapons that guy has not had all of his career for most of it and what he's done with it, you don't do that by accident. You don't have to throw the cleanest football. Peyton Manning can barely throw a spiral. He's like the all-time touchdown pass leader. You don't have to throw the prettiest football. Like Aaron Rodgers throws the prettiest football. He's incredibly accurate, but Tom Brady just gets it done. And he's got the arm, and he's got the accuracy, and he's got that it factor that you can't control. Eli doesn't have those things. And to me, when you put a guy in the Hall of Fame, you're saying this is one of the greatest football players at his position of all time. Could you really sit there with a straight face and let someone tell you, Goods, that Eli Manning is one of the greatest football players of all time?
No, not even close.
Not remotely close. Ridiculous. I don't know. Whatever.
We spent a lot of time on this Eli.
I know, man. I'm passionate about that because I feel like that, I don't know. Some guys just milk something for all it's worth, man. Like and it works out to them. That's their credit. Like, a Super Bowl championship buys people a lot of time, and I get it because fan bases will talk about your championship win for 7-8 years. But like I don't think Mike McCarthy's a very good coach for Green Bay, but he's got a Super Bowl ring, so he gets to hang around. And Aaron Rodgers has kept him employed for a long time.
Aaron Rodgers is that team.
I'll put it this way. Aaron Rodgers has been the quarterback there for 10 years, 10, 11 years. They have one Super Bowl championship.
So how many injuries has he had?
I understand they've had some injuries, but
that defense. Okay, I'm not.
Okay, so
I kind of get what you're leading.
Somebody has to be held accountable for that,
I understand.
Right?
Like, I get where you're leading with all this. But you can't always just point a finger at the coach for things like that. I mean, it takes a magical group to win a Super Bowl, and they've at least been competitive every single season, other than when Rodgers was hurt.
I'm not saying I think Aaron Rodgers, that Mike McCarthy's a bad coach. I'm just saying I don't think he's a great coach. I think that he gets largely elevated because of what Aaron Rodgers did for him. I give Mike McCarthy some credit because there's a couple of years in there where Aaron Rodgers, last year being one of them, but last year, take out last year, that was the second time Aaron Rodgers had broken his collarbone, right? The first time he did it, the Packers ended up making the playoffs. So they survived long. He's done a good job of having his team survive long enough to where they've been able to stay competitive without Aaron Rodgers. But ultimately, and I'm not faulting you for needing Aaron Rodgers to win. I don't fault anybody for that. Yeah. But what I'm saying, though, is in-game adjustments, he's never been strong. They've just never been a team that, and that offense has underperformed so many seasons. They had a season a couple of years ago, you may remember, where they, for the first 6-7 weeks of the year, they just couldn't figure anything out on offense. And they were scoring 14, 21 points a game without any injuries.
Well, even this year, they've struggled quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they've struggled this year relative to their personnel. I mean, and this year makes a little bit more sense because at least you've had some injuries on the offensive line, you've had some injuries in the receiving corps, but seriously, man, like, for them to only have one championship with a quarterback like that's crazy to me. For them only have been to the Super Bowl one time with a quarterback like that's crazy.
Well, you said before, I mean, it's one punt or kickoff away and, several little issues.
Well, there you go. Okay, so people remember the onside kick. I talk about it a lot. But the game they lost to the Seahawks, the NFC Championship game, the fake field goal, like that right there. Like, I mean, the fake field goal, like, who didn't know that was coming? Like, I was sitting in my living room with because I just moved to El Paso, and I'm sitting in the living room with the weekend sports anchor, and we're just both chilling out watching the game. And we were just watching. I looked at him. I was going, "This is a fake, right? This has to be a fake." He goes, "Why wouldn't it be?" And then they of course they throw a fake, and I'm like, "What the hell were the Packers thinking?"
Yep.
There you go. So I don't know. I feel like he's underperformed, but yeah, man, I've never been a big fan of Eli. I've always thought he's overrated, and I feel like we're just long overdue. Like Eli should have been. They should have moved on from Eli a long time ago. I don't know where the Giants really got off thinking that Eli was going to lead them back to, like, they were going to build another championship team around Eli. I don't know where they got off thinking that.
I don't know. Desperate because they got Saquon now, so I don't know. Maybe they thought that was the saving grace.
I'll tell you one thing, though, man. I'll tell you one thing. If you wanted to delay the inevitable, which is what they did, you could do worse than Saquon Barkley, because that guy can ball. And if they ever get a quarterback, they might have something. And I can kind of forgive the Giants for taking Saquon, because if you look at, think about it, like, who would they have taken? Sam Darnold, and yeah, maybe he's the better long-term solution, but like Sam Darnold leads the league in picks. I was like, I don't know that. I understand that, but I'm saying I think the Giants were going to be pretty terrible this year, regardless. So I get the rationale of taking a quarterback and building for the future, but I also get the idea of like, well, if you delay it, you get Saquon Barkley, you might get both.
The fucking Browns are honestly who should have had both.
Yeah, I you know what though? I will tell you this: the more and more I thought of that, the more I think about this. Let's just say that the Browns had taken Saquon Barkley at 1, right? Well, the Giants probably take Sam Darnold 2. And then the Jets are sitting there at number 3. Now, Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen was a legitimate question. And I think we all assumed it would have been Josh Rosen. I still think it may have been, but there were a lot of people that thought the Jets might have taken Baker Mayfield. And I'm wondering now, because I remember when we first started this show, I hated that deal. The more I've gone back and looked at it, the more I think, maybe they took Mayfield because they realized if they took Barkley, Mayfield might not make it back to them. And if that was your guy, if that's your guy, I may not agree with it, but if that's your guy, go get him. And to his credit, he's been the best quarterback of that draft so far. To his credit.
Yeah, and they got Chubb.
Right, and they still got Nick Chubb. Right, so the Browns will look a lot less foolish if they can pull this off and make something out of both of them. It's always too early to tell. I acknowledge that if Baker Mayfield ends up being a monster, no one's going to remember that the Browns reached for him. Just going to remember that he was the first overall pick and he justified it. But yeah, I thought it at the time. I feel differently about that now than I did at the time. Anyway, Eli Manning sucks.
Bottom line.
Totally bottom line. Dude, what did you think of the Saints beating the Rams?
Honestly, not a real shocker. I struggled on that pick a lot. I just ended up, was like, well, Rams are undefeated. Let's see what happens there. But, no. Every team loses at some point.
Yeah, I don't think there's... I thought about taking the Saints. I really thought about taking the Saints last week. I wish I would have now, because of how badly my game picks went last week. It was 6-7 last week.
Yeah,
this is why it's better not to keep track of that shit.
That's why it's better for me to keep track of it.
No, it's not. Just stop. I'm not talking about this anymore.
Yeah.
Did you see Marcus Peters after the game?
No.
Marcus Peters. Okay, so Marcus Peters had a really bad game against the Saints. Michael Thomas put like 200 yards on him, and Peters has had a rough stretch of it. Now he's had some injuries. He's one of the better corners in football, but he's had a calf injury, and One thing I like about Marcus Peters is like that dude. He owned it. He said he's been playing like crap. They asked him, "Are you healthy?" He goes, "That's beside the point." He was like, beside the point. I'm not playing well. If I'm out there, I got to play better, and I'm not playing well. And I appreciate that. I appreciate guys that do that, and he's a good player. But Sean Payton turned around and said that they liked that matchup against Marcus Peters the entire game. The word got back to Marcus Peters, and he says basically, "All right, you keep talking that mess. We'll see what happens." I think this is a good beef. I like this. It makes that matchup that much more enticing for when they rematch in the playoffs. Hopefully.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm intrigued by it. I think it's good stuff, man. I think we finally got our answer though about the Saints defense may not be great, but it's not the train wreck we saw on opening day.
No. I mean, like I said from the start, they always suck the first week, 2, 3, something like that, and then they pick their shit up, and that's exactly what happened this year.
This is a crucial week for a lot of teams. Coming into this week, I mean, you've got teams like, who's basically their season's up in the air, like Dallas and Philadelphia. This is a Sunday night game, and the Eagles are 4-4. This is a golden opportunity for them to jump back over 500 and start their second half surge. And the Cowboys, this is their season. They lose this game, the season's over. They're not coming back from 3-6. Detroit's 3-5, has to go play at Chicago. Cincinnati's 5-3, and they looked like the best team in that division early. And now the Steelers are really good, and they've got the Bengals with the Saints coming to town. The Falcons have gone. Cleveland has been a very tough team to beat this year, especially in Cleveland. Then the Falcons have to go there. There's a lot of teams, that with their seasons on the line. Jacksonville and Indianapolis, they're both 3-5. The Jaguars are Super Bowl expectations this year. They get Leonard Fournette back finally. We'll see if this is the game that turns their whole season around. And a loser of this game is 3-6 and probably out of it. So, there's a lot of really big games being played this week. And I think it's going to be interesting. Miami's 5-4 has to go to Green Bay. Miami has a better record than the Packers do.
Do they really?
Yeah, the Dolphins are 5-4.
That's funny.
That's what I said. I was like, wait a minute. The Dolphins? How did they shit out 5 wins? What the hell happened here? And I turned around and went, oh, yeah, they got the Titans, the Jets, and the Raiders to start the season. That's 3 wins right there. They got backhand bitch slapped by the Patriots and the Bengals in consecutive weeks. And then they turn around and they beat Chicago because that makes sense. And then they lose to Detroit, get murdered by the Texans, and then they get the Jets. So they have managed to shit out 5 wins this year. And now they got the Packers.
Yeah, NFC North has had a brutal schedule.
Yeah, the NFC North's been messed up. I don't think the Dolphins are very good, but the Packers are in a must-win game. And this is going to get interesting. The Seahawks, they're 4-4. They almost beat the Rams a few weeks ago. They didn't beat the Rams. Now their season is hanging in the balance, and they have to play the Rams again.
Yeah, in L.A.
In L.A. this time. Yeah. So, and Chris Carson's a game-time decision. So,
yeah.
we're going to basically, because I'm going to tell you this, after we can safely eliminate, I'm going to say probably 4 or 5 teams if they lose. If they lose, the season's over. So, I mean, and some of them we already knew that, but it's officially it's over.
Without catastrophic issues.
Maybe we'll find out. So, all right, let's do game picks, and then I'm going to talk to you about movies because there's some good stuff out. So let's go ahead and do game picks. All right, so I was 6-7 last week, and you were not 6-7 last week.
9-4.
So your record, if I have this correct, you are then 85-47-2.
Yep.
All right, I am not. So let's go into game picks, and guys, if you want to follow along with us and do this, it'll be on NFL.com. / or is it / or /? What is that?
Schedule.
Okay, /schedules, whatever. All right. So You took Pittsburgh on the Thursday night game. I did not, and so I'm off to a wonderful start.
Based on that score, I should get 2 points, really.
Yeah, you're not getting 2 points for that. All right, so let's move on. So first of all, because of the bigness of some of these games, we have some crucial matchups. But here we go: the Saints at the Bengals, and a very good one in Cincinnati.
Saints are proving to be a really, really dominant force, and the Bengals will not be able to handle it no matter where they play.
I almost picked the Bengals. It's a desperate team with talent. The Saints just beat the Rams. It was an emotional victory. They're primed for a letdown.
Go ahead, pick the Bengals.
But ultimately, I'm picking against the Saints too much. They're too good, so I'm going to pick the Saints. Another big one. Atlanta at Cleveland. This is their season. For the Falcons.
Team season. The difference is the Browns don't expect to have a season. The Falcons do. So I think the Falcons will have more to play for. Plus, their offense is just outrageous.
You don't think that makes Cleveland? You don't think it makes Cleveland more dangerous? The fact that they're the underdogs, then they're playing pressure-free football.
Maybe against a team that has already clinched, like way into the season, but against a team that desperately has to win, I think that team will have the edge.
I agree with you. I'm taking Atlanta, desperate team with talent, and honestly, that trade for Clinton Dix is really, really, really helped. I mean, because Nix is one of the absolute better players when he's interested, and he hasn't been interested for the Packers. And he made a difference on defense for the Falcons last week, so we'll see if that continues. But I like the Falcons. All right, so the Lions, this is their season. They're in Chicago.
Based on how they looked against the Vikings, with the Vikings setting a record in sacks, a franchise record, 10 of them, they're going to have problems against the Bears, especially in Chicago. So, yeah.
Yeah, I am also taking the Bears. And I will tell you this. If you guys have the Bears defense or the Jets defense this week, you're probably feeling really good about yourself in fantasy football. Here's one defense you should probably bench this week. If you have it, you should probably bench the Cardinals defense because they're facing Kansas City. So I guess really instead of picking that game goods, we should go and this is one of those spread games. Kansas City is a 16-point favorite. Do you think the Cardinals cover it?
No. I think it'll be like 48-24. Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 16's a lot of points. And we got burned on this before when that Bills and Vikings game. We got burned on that one before. And I could just see like the Chiefs winning so easily, the Cardinals get a few garbage touchdowns in there.
I think the Chiefs will cover the spread in the first quarter.
Well, no, that's the thing. I agree with that, but I don't know that they'll keep the spread by the end of the game. You dig? Because of the garbage time. Because I think they'll win so easily, it's not going to...
Well, Hunt, that's what's funny about Hunt. He's so dynamic that they'll be like, oh, we're just going to run to kill the clock. And then Hunt's like, all right, here's 85-yard touchdown. Like, oh.
Yeah, well, I could see it, but... I mean, obviously, we're taking the Chiefs. I think the Cardinals cover it. I think the Chiefs are going to beat them so badly that the Cardinals are going to cover the spread by default. Honestly, I feel like there'll be so much garbage time that they'll jump in. So that's a game. If you guys are gamblers, don't play that one. Don't play a 16-point spread. It's a bad idea. All right, Buffalo at the Jets.
No, it's Pats and the Titans.
Oh, I'm in the wrong list. See, I have to switch to a different website to go to my to go find the spreads. All right, Pats at Titans.
Obviously, that's
all right. Yeah, all right, we'll keep going. All right. Well, here's an interesting one: the Washington racial slurs at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the Bucs, this is their season, and this is a big game for Washington too, sitting at 5-3.
I think so as well, but I think the Redskins are going to come back angry, and then the Bucs. I have a hard time believing in such a schizophrenic team. It's 24 points and a half, 3 points and a half. 27 points and a half, 0 points and a half. No. I trust a more consistent Redskins team.
Dude, they couldn't score on Atlanta.
What, the Redskins?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. They're going to come back angry. I think they'll
but no,
get
but
it.
what I'm saying though is that the offense has been a problem all year, and that was before they're down 2 starters on their offensive line. And I know that their defense is good, and I know that Ryan Fitzpatrick can melt down at any time, and I get it. But it's kind of the same thing I saw last week. I just wonder, like, who on Washington is going to capitalize on this horrible Bucs defense? I just don't think they can score enough points. I'm going to take the Bucs. I'll take an upset. I just don't think
different.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I just feel pretty good about that one. I just don't know who. I just don't know who on Washington is going to take advantage of that crappy Bucs defense.
I don't know. Both the teams are bad. Neither of them deserves the record they have, so who cares?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Bucs can at least score, and so we'll see. All right, Bills at the Jets. We spent far too much time talking about this one earlier.
Yeah, I decided to take the Jets.
Right. Yeah, you should have taken the Bills. Since you felt so good about their quarterback situation, evidently, until I told you not to. All right, we're taking the Jets. All right. Okay, so basically, this is all right. Winner's season is alive. Loser's season is probably over, and almost certainly over. Jacksonville at Indianapolis.
I think with Fournette, the Jags get back on track.
I agree with that. I also took the Jaguars. I feel like this is the team that they expected to have, right, coming into the year. They wanted Fournette. They're going to run the wheels off of him. I think he's going to get 35, 40 carries first game back. I really believe that because they need him.
Yeah.
And look, he hasn't taken a lot of hits this year because of the injuries. So I think they're going to run the wheels off of him, and I'm going to give the Jaguars the benefit of the doubt. Although it should be noted that Andrew Luck is second in the NFL in touchdown passes.
For a reason. They are always losing.
Yes, I'm just throwing that out there. All right, Chargers at the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm never picking the Raiders again.
I'll tell you one thing. The Chargers are 9.5-point favorites. I will totally take the Chargers on that one. Absolutely. Seahawks at the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams to destroy them.
I think the Rams are going to be very angry. You mentioned bounce back game in there. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that one too for the Rams. All right, well, here it is. The Dolphins at the Packers.
Yeah, Packers are playing for the marbles here, so if they lose, which I wouldn't even care.
I think you would care. You just wouldn't feel bad for them.
Yeah, so, but I'm still picking them because they're the better team.
Yeah. Give you an idea of what Vegas thinks about this game. The Packers, who again have 2 fewer wins than Miami, and this is week 10, the Packers are 10.5-point favorites. Like they're predicting a blowout in favor of the Packers. That tells you everything you need to know. All righty, so Sunday Night Football again. Loser season is over. Dallas at Philadelphia.
I think the Eagles in their 3rd-round pick trade will outdo the Cowboys in their 1st-round pick trade.
Yeah, I just think Philadelphia is better. I think they've underachieved all year. I think if they win this one, they're 5-4, and I feel like they'll start their run. Yeah, to the Eagles. That's not even thinking about that one a whole lot. All right, Monday Night Football. Okay, first of all,
this is probably the hardest game to call of the week right here.
This is the 2nd consecutive primetime game for the 49ers. That is outrageous. That is so bad. I can't. The 2nd straight primetime game for the 49ers. These two teams are a combined 3-14.
Sounds like a good start.
So, who you taking?
I'm actually going to take the 49ers.
I'll take the Giants then. I don't even. I knew going in I was going to take whoever you didn't take, like, for no reason except that, like, come on. Who think with any confidence, right?
You don't.
You don't. And the 49ers might go kill him. I don't. It wouldn't shock me because the Giants are terrible, guys. Yeah.
So we got two differences.
Yeah.
Redskins and Bucks and Giants and 49ers.
Those are the only differences?
Well, Panthers, Steelers, which I've already got.
Yeah, I'm looking at this over again.
It's a pretty consistent week. There's a
I don't
lot
really
of
see a
bad
whole
teams.
lot. I don't see a whole lot we would disagree on anyway, though.
That's what I'm saying. So, well, the first one was probably the close. Well, should have been the closest.
Yeah, Carolina and Pitt. I mean, yeah, I felt pretty good about Carolina.
Pittsburgh, like, nah. Well, Panthers have problem covering deep. That's the only thing.
I think Carolina is pretty good. I think
they are a good team, but they can't cover deep, and Steelers thrive on deep.
Yeah, they can't cover deep at all. I mean, yeah.
First fucking play of the game, 75-yard touchdown. I was like, come on.
Yeah, and even worse, it wasn't to Antonio Brown. Worse.
Yeah, it's to my guy, so.
Yeah, your guy sucks.
Sure he does. 75 yards into the end zone, he sucks.
Yeah, 75 yards in the end zone. All right, so did you see, have you seen Overlord?
Yeah, I saw it today, actually.
That movie kicks ass.
It was entertaining as hell.
That movie is awesome. I loved it. I just sit there and like, all right, this worked out well. Where's my popcorn at? That was perfect. I loved it. It was just a fun ride. A little bit better, way better of a story than I was expecting. And a really good, just really good action film, keeps you in it all the way through. Love that. That movie kicked ass.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the hell out of that.
It was a well-developed action movie, which it sort of became popular a few years ago, but then kind of died out. But then with this one, came back again.
Yeah, I really liked it. I really, really had a good time with that, man. I really did. So, I'll tell you guys, you got to see something. You should go check out that one, man. Check out that one for damn sure. But yeah, brother. I think that one thing I gotta ask you about. Have you heard of this movie, The New Mutants? Have you heard about that movie?
New Mutants?
Yeah, it's a superhero horror film. It's a Marvel film, right? This movie, I saw the trailer for it I don't know, maybe a year ago. This movie has been delayed so many freaking times that the first trailer will have aired in 2000, I think, the first trailer aired sometime earlier this year. The thing isn't going to come out until I think the summer of next year because they keep pushing the damn thing back. So this movie is a horror film about mutants, and it was supposed to come out April 13th. They pushed it back to February 15th. But then this year they decided they were going to move Dark Phoenix to that date, so they moved the New Mutants again over to August 2nd, 2019. And the first trailer for the movie aired, I think, in January of this year. That movie's going to come out almost 2 years after the fact.
Huh.
Yeah. It was the weirdest damn thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that movie.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool if you go watch the trailer because it's on IMDb. They released this thing. Yeah, if you go find that movie, it's a horror film about mutants, with powers and stuff.
Generally, mutants do, yeah.
No, I like it. Well, I mean, I don't mean mutants like The Hills Have Eyes. Where they're walking around with axes, hacking up families and shit. I'm talking about mutants Powers, X-Men,
Yeah, got that from the Marvel part.
Oh, there you go. All right, so you
So
got
what
some
you're saying
alcohol.
is you're okay.
What? What? No, what? Say it.
Look, this show is family friendly.
No, it's not.
No, not my
Well, I mean,
family.
it was until you walked on, got up on the, podcast, started drinking.
That's been since day one, so I don't know what you're talking about. Look,
That's
Frank
well,
Sinatra and the Rat
exactly. That's what I'm
Pack,
saying. Hey,
fucking,
that's
he
but
rocked
that's
his scotch
hey,
every show.
hey, that's what I'm saying though. You said this show was kid friendly. I'm saying since the moment you opened the booze, it hasn't been, and you opened your booze in the first show. This has never been a family friendly show ever.
Look, Frank Sinatra and Tony something? Look, the Rat Pack, they all drank their balls off. Probably their tits too. And they were creative.
Cool.
So now you know. And knowing is power. G.I. Joe. Boom, boom, boom.
G.I. Joe. Man, I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Well, knowledge is knowing, and knowing is power. G.I.
Oh.
Joe. Boom, boom, boom. That's all shit.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about anymore.
That's the G.I. Joe. That's the end of the show. It always used to end. They would do some stupid fact. And like, oh, knowledge is power or something. It's like G.I. Joe. And like some end tune. And then it
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Some random fact like, oh, yeah.
Knowing is the battle or something like that. G.I. Joe! And then the show would end. I never watched the show ever.
But they never give you any like useful messages. Like it'd be nice if like they just once. And remember, kids, herpes is incurable. Something useful. That's a good bet. Why don't they put stuff out there for kids like that? That's useful information.
Because parents don't know how to handle real situations. So if you had like an 8-year-old walking up to a mom like, "Mommy, what's the herpes?" And then mom be like, "Oh, talk to your teacher." And then they would go sideways.
Lucky, if you're lucky, your parent would say, "Talk to your teacher." But like, what's the herpes? Like, oh, it's just some made up word. Like, just talk to your kids, damn it. Like, but I feel like if you told the kid that, you might have actually gotten somewhere with some like sex education in the world. Like, hey, folks, just remember this. You might want to wrap that up just because herpes. Throwing that out there. And if you got that message when you're 8 or 9, it just sits there and incubates until you're ready.
That's what kind of annoys me about me not wanting kids. Is I'm one of those. I'm a real good talking to kids person because of my honesty. Like kids appreciate it, and adults don't realize it. Like my cuñadas, or not my cuñadas, but my sobrinas, from my wife is they really appreciate it. You just sit them down and talk to them, and I would be one of those people. I could have the talk with them, no problem, and I think they would appreciate that. I'd be like, yo, you're some of that Latina pretty, so don't go trusting none of that duh from those birds out there.
Yeah, that's a useful piece of information. I'm just gonna write that down. Yeah, you Latina, don't go trusting any of that duh. That's wonderful advice there, Goods. That's that right there. The parenting prowess of Goods, man. I'm glad you got your nuts tied. All right.
What are you talking about? The point is to teach them not to trust.
Folks, I don't even want to tell you how I know that. All right.
What, my nuts are tied?
Yeah.
I think you saw them, right?
Too many times. Too many times I did. My life. That's another story for another show. We got to keep the viewers interested, or listeners interested. Viewers. I'm still in TV mode. We got to keep the listeners interested.
Giggity.
Giggity. Yeah, exactly. Giggity.
That's these viewers. Viewers interested in some good nut tying.
As I said, there's another story for another time. We got to keep the audience interested. Come back next week. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Stick around.
Stick
around. Keep the audience interested.
Sabrina. Oh, it's not good to include Sabrina's in this here conversation.
Yeah, maybe not.
No, there's no maybe. That's a guaranteed. That's a no-no. That's like you put on 6 or 17 different lists just for that kind of stuff.
Hey, you saw It, right?
The one that was made last year?
Yeah.
No.
You haven't seen It?
No.
What the hell's wrong with you? All right, never mind. That kills that topic.
Or...
Watch it so we can talk about it next week. It's a good one. Because I had a question for you that I think it's a major plot hole, and I had to talk about it, but I can't talk about it with you until you watch it. You need to watch it.
Yes, he is a clown.
It's not the clown, damn it. It's not the clown. You're killing me.
No.
God.
I'm reinvigorating.
Did you see? There was a
Tusk.
No, I'm not talking about Tusk. I mean, I'm glad we could definitely jump back into that talk. Anyway, okay, so the Russo brothers, who directed the first Avengers film, or the first Avengers Infinity War film, excuse me, they said that the title to the fourth Avengers was a line featured in a previous movie. So Geek Central got a hold of that information and came up with some possible titles based on that criteria. And here are the possible titles according to Geek Central. Avengers, ow, my nipples. Avengers, I'm looking at porn. Avengers, piss off Ghost. Avengers, try me Beyonce. How you feeling? You feeling any of these?
Is it any Marvel? Because I feel like these are not Avenger films. These are
all. It's a line that was featured in one of the previous Avenger universe films. So every single one of these lines
not
has
just
been
Avengers.
Avengers, like the whole thing, the whole Marvel universe, the Avengers linked films. And that was the only hint they gave. So they just left it to us to figure out what the title of the film is going to be, which, by the way, is stupid. Because why are you holding it off like this as if like the title is going to be some sort of a major reveal? Because if it is, you screwed up the movie. I mean, that's just
a dick with people.
Yeah, I'm just saying if the title gives anything away, you screwed everything up. All right. So other title possibilities. Avengers. Boom. You looking for this? Avengers, doth mother know weareth her drapes? Or doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
Yeah.
Avengers, bunch of assholes standing in a circle. Avengers, I understood that reference. What do you think?
I don't think he said assholes standing in a circles.
I like I'm looking at porn. I like that.
It was something else. It was jackasses. He said we're a bunch of jackasses standing in a circle. That's what it was.
We're a bunch of assholes standing in a circle.
No, it was jackasses.
Are you sure it's jackasses?
Yeah.
What line is that from? What movie is that from?
Rocket said it in the first Guardians.
Okay, so I'll go back and watch that and verify that. But I mean, you would know better. I've only seen that movie once. I loved it, but I've only seen it once.
Yeah,
so we'll
me
see
and the wife have watched that a stupid number of times.
Yeah, that movie's outstanding.
Like, that's how I recognized the nipple one was the second Guardians. I recognize most of those lines. How about the one in Galaga? You were playing Galaga? We've seen it. You thought you hit it, but you didn't. That's kind of a drawn out title, but I mean, Galaga's a classic.
Yeah, this is golden stuff. So,
how about Thanos? Just like, I will spill the universe with your blood, or something like that. That's another Guardians line. Guardians has the best lines.
Guardians is a great line. Even just that in the most recent one in Avengers, right? The ability of standing so incredibly still that I become invisible to the eye.
Oh, hi, Drax. Damn it.
Great stuff, man. That's great. Let's see. So here's some fan recommendations. Let's see. Avengers: Earth is Closed, or Avengers: Get Lost, Squidward.
I don't remember them talking about Squidward in any movie.
That was in the most recent one when they start the invasion of Earth.
Oh, they calls that one bro Squidward.
Yep. Let's see. I don't see anything here that's. This seemed like a much better topic initially. I'm looking at some of these. I'm looking at some of the title suggestions, and they're not very good. Oh, here's a good one. Avengers: Why is Gamora? I'll take that one. That's good.
I got one better for you. Why is Gamora? Drax.
Drax is great, man. I love that movie. It's good stuff. I can't wait for the fourth Avengers to come out, man. I'm still super excited about that. So we'll see.
How about Avengers should have gone for the head? Yep.
Yeah, you know what, man? Watching that again is on that vase. I think about how great that movie is because of how all the fight scenes were. Because like so many things went right for the Avengers, and they still lost because of who they were fighting. You know?
Yeah.
And also because Star-Lord's insane.
Well. Yeah, he's human.
Yeah, I'm not saying the whole thing's his fault. I'm just saying he didn't help.
Humans are dumb. What can you say?
Yeah, they are.
So,
although I have a feeling that they needed him to do that because of that Doctor Strange scenario where he saw the one time they won. Maybe it was part of it. I don't know.
Well, if Star-Lord wasn't a slut, maybe there were 6 ways they could have won instead of 1.
Didn't he come up with that whole list of scenarios before Star-Lord snapped?
Yeah, but obviously his future reading saw that he was a slut.
But all I'm saying is that he did say that there was only one way that they could win, and he tells Tony as he's dying or disappearing or whatever the hell it is, that it was the only way. So I'm just throwing that out there that maybe Star-Lord was for some damn reason. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
No, the Star-Lord always being a slut is what's consistent in the universe, and if he were not always such one, that there would have been multiple ways.
You're a slut.
Only as much as Ryan Reynolds lets me be.
So, not at all?
Oh no. If Ryan Reynolds wanted a piece of this, I would let him have it.
Does Ryan Reynolds want a piece of it?
I haven't talked to him personally. But from what I understand, he loves his cushion for the pushing. I
don't know. I don't know. He might be into you, man. You might be able to pull that off. I mean, in Deadpool, he was trying new things.
Look, me and him got pretty much the same personality. It would just be a matter of who is cuddling with who.
Yeah, you guys might be the same personality. He might be. He might look a little different than you physically. Yeah,
he's in slightly better shape.
Just slightly? Yeah, I'm with you. He's in slightly better shape than like everyone in the world.
Yeah.
It's just we're all like genetically close to him, just not close enough.
But as he is holding me ever so closely, I could whisper back moments of sarcasm that he would appreciate.
Well, you were all about Ryan Reynolds, man. All right.
Oh, you don't know.
Okay. No, look, that's cool. Dude, that's cool. That's cool.
I would let Ryan Reynolds have me any way he wanted.
Look, man. That's totally cool, man. I got no issue with that. I will say I would like to know what circumstances were evolving around, or what bribes you may or may not have. I don't even know. Well, you couldn't pay him bribes. I don't know how you would get him to meet with you. I don't know. That's going to be one hell of a pickup line.
Hey, barber.
Something to that effect.
Yeah. Start it simple. Hey, barber.
I notice you have braces.
I noticed your name is Ryan. My name is Ryan, too.
I notice you have braces. I have braces too.
Wouldn't go full butthead. Just semi. I noticed your name is Ryan. My name is Ryan too.
I think the result would be the same. He might throw you out of a window. Well, I don't know.
I'll
He's
pull him
Canadian.
with me.
Canadian's supposed to be friendly. I don't know.
Oh, so sorry. I need to throw you out the window, eh? Like,
Yeah, because that's how he
your
talks.
Canadian loving ass out here. I'll hold him by the hand. I'm like, you coming with me? It'd be all Titanic on that shit. I get Celine Dion on my phone.
Titanic? So what? So you would let him like leave you in freezing cold water
No.
while he was on
We
a
would
door
both
with there
sink.
totally enough room for both of you?
No, we would both sink to the bottom. While I held his hand and Celine Dion was on my phone. And Blake Lively would be the one with the whistle.
You can do better than Celine Dion.
She's Canadian too. That's why.
Yeah, but no one wants to hear Celine Dion anymore.
She's the only Canadian singer I know. Maybe
I think she has.
Was it Justin Bieber? I think he's Canadian. Fucking Steve Nash could sing it for all I care. Look, there's only so many Canadians I actually know in the world, right?
All I'm saying is that is she okay? She's having a farewell tour apparently, and I only know this because a couple of my friends are going to it because they are. That's a fucking thing they're gonna do. I didn't know Celine Dion was big enough to have a farewell tour. I didn't realize that was a thing that like people would attend.
I thought she retired.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know she was still making music, and I certainly didn't know that she was big enough to have a farewell tour.
Does the tour exit Canada?
I would hope so.
Your friends might be traveling a ways then.
Well, I think they're going. I think they're in Vegas right now. I didn't know Celine Dion was big enough to play in Vegas. She had that. I mean, she had that Titanic song. That's the only one I really remember. I mean, I'm sure she's had other songs than that, which is why she has a farewell tour. I'm just saying the only one I remember is the Titanic song.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I remember it.
I can't even recall it at all.
Yeah, I still can. And believe me, you do not want that song stuck in your head. There's certain songs that if they get stuck in your head, it will ruin your existence. Like, you remember that song when we were kids, is that Bop by Hanson? Remember that shit?
That's basically it, just bop.
There you go. Okay, that song. If you get that song stuck in your head, it will ruin your day. Because that shit will not come out. It will not come out of your head if you hear that song.
I remember a lot of South Park songs.
I remember a lot of the rhythms. I don't remember all the words. There's one I remember pretty well, but I'm not going to sing it.
Is it Kyle's mom's a big fat bitch?
It's not that one, but it's worse. It's worse than that one.
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker?
Yeah, that one's it. That's it.
Yeah.
No, a lot of hers. The one I would like to know is Brian Boitano, just because that is the most random song I think I've ever heard in my life.
I've seen that movie probably 60 times. It's insane.
That movie like almost ruined my childhood. Like I was the most foul-mouthed like kid in the world after that.
It was worth it.
That movie's still great.
It is.
South Park. I mean, South Park is on a bit of a run, man. They're having a really good season right now.
Do you know I actually bought South Park the movie at a church yard sale thing for 50 cents?
Well, of course, the churchies were getting rid of it.
But it was funny as I was buying it, it's like, oh, you like that one? That's a great movie. And I was like, really? You think so?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Hey, whatever, man. Like I guess, but yeah, that's not the one I would have expected them to be selling at a Christian yard sale. I mean, well, I guess again, only because they were trying to rid themselves of the evil. But that's like the only thing I could think of.
I don't know. I'm just assuming that the kids snuck it in somehow, and they wanted to put it up for sale. It was a rummage sale. That's what it's called. And just some church had it, and I don't even know if it was related to there, or they just had space to do it. But it was just funny to me. I enjoyed it.
I wonder what they used the money for.
Lube.
Oh. Oh. Okay, you said that. I didn't say that. You said that.
That's fine.
Oof. Yeah.
I'm tolerant to heat, so it's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna need to be. That's fine. That's fine. It's all good. Well, I think any listeners we have would be probably fine with that. They've been listening long enough that they get it. Ouch, though.
Not really. Ouch to the kids.
No, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, then why'd you set me up?
Because I knew you were going to say it. That's why I set you up. Oh, God. All right. Okay, this show's gone off the rails. Or maybe on them. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we had good football this week. I had a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this week. Guys, we're going to start doing some new content at some point. Don't have exact time for it yet. We have a new little mini show by Goods here, and out of respect for his channel, I feel really good about this segment called Fire and Miscellaneous Thoughts, which I think you guys will enjoy, and we're working on that one. So kind of keep an eye out for that one, and it'll pretty much just be Goods being Goods.
Yeah, my broken brain with questions is what it is.
Yeah. And your brain is all kinds of broken, so.
Yeah, I've, not even just you, but ever since high school, I've had so many people think I was the biggest stoner on the planet. Like, I remember I got this job just after high school, and the lady who was training me in the morning was convinced I came into work stoned every day.
Is that the one where you smelled like carne asada every day?
No.
Okay.
It was a different job. It was after that.
You had a different job?
I've had a
All
lot
I
of
remember
jobs.
was Rubio's. I remember Rubio's, the only one I remember.
No, that was during high school. After high school. When I worked
You
hospital.
didn't work at Rubio's after high school?
I don't know, I might have, but at the
I could have
hospital.
sworn you did.
Look, the point is, I worked at a hospital, and the chick who was training me in the morning was convinced I came into work stoned every day. I was like, no, I ain't stoned. I'm tired. And then she didn't believe me. She thought I was all jacked up every single day when I came into work. Until I started working in the afternoon. And then she's like, oh, you're all rested now. It makes sense. I was like, yeah, see, I told you.
Well, you know what? I'm just saying, I think that, I think everyone thought you were stoned at some point or another. And I will tell you that for any of you guys that know him, he is not high. He's just Goods. Sometimes he's drunk, though. Like today, he's drunk right now. But.
No, that's where. In basketball, that's my point.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it right there because Goods is going to have to buffer. So we'll just go ahead and end it right there. But keep an eye out for Fire and Miscellaneous Thoughts. And once again, keep tuning in to Leading with Your Helmet podcast. I really hope I kick your ass this week in game picks because this is getting ugly. All right. But until next time, guys, I'm Danny. He's Goods. We're out.
Bye.